This news is about a sister of a boy with autism who made a video to help the classmates understand his brother. This was shown all around the school to help all the students understand how he is a normal boy but is stressed in some situations.
Smith worked long hours as a bus monitor and custodian for the Brigham Independent School District in Texas. But she never let go of the hope that one day she will be leading a classroom. Smith then returned to Brigham Elementary School as a first-grade teacher, at the school where she had once worked as a custodian.
Willingness to help others. The young woman's request to visit her mother's grave was fulfilled in Kocaeli. In Kocaeli's Darıca district, the woman who sent her request to visit her mother's grave on social media was taken to the cemetery with special permission by the Metropolitan Municipality teams, stating that he was very happy to visit his mother's grave. Nazan Şahin said, "We used to visit his grave every year on Mother's Day. We wouldn't be able to visit this year because of the pandemic. May Allah."
I'm a reporter of the Peace in the World News Group. Today, we will report you the news that the foundation of Black Lives Matter movement has been nominated to Nobel Peace Prize. The founders of Black Lives Matter have received nomination for the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize. In his nomination papers, Norwegian politician Petter Eide said the movement had forced countries outside the US to confront regime in their own societies. I find that one of the key challenges we have seen in America, but also in Europe and Asia, is the kind of increasing conflict based on inequality, Eide said. Black Lives Matter has become a very important worldwide movement to fight racial injustice. They have had a tremendous achievement in raising global awareness and conscience about racial injustice. Now we are connecting to Akif Emre and he will go on the news. Hi Akif Emre.
Thanks Elifnaz. We should accept that we all human beings are equal and must be respectful to each other. Ada went on to praise the fact that they have been able to mobilize people from all groups of society, not just Afro-Americans, not just oppressed people. It has been a broad movement, in a way which has been different from their predecessors. The Black Lives Matter movement was co-founded in 2013 by Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, and Opal Tometi in response to acquittal in the US of the man who shot Trayvon Martin. It continued to gain wider recognition over deaths of Michael Brown and Eric Garner. Most recently, global protests over the death of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Lars Haltbrekken, a Socialist Party member of Norway's parliament, also put forward Stacey Abrams, a voting rights activist and politician, for a nomination. Her efforts to increase voter turnout and fairness in the southern election process. Commenting on her historic nomination, he said Abrams' work follows Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s footsteps in the fight for equality before the law and civil rights. Thanks for following us. Hope to hear good news.
Switzerland holds referendum on making homophobia illegal. The measure, which expands on existing laws banning racial discrimination, would make it illegal to publicly denigrate, discriminate against, or stir up hatred against people based on their sexual orientation.
San Francisco Mayor London Breed announced the awarding of $3.75 million to serve San Francisco Black and African American small business community. This investment by the Office of Economic and Workforce Development and the San Francisco Human Rights Commission is part of the Dreamkeeper initiative, which is reinvesting $120 million from law enforcement into San Francisco African American community.
Where can a blind child, a child in a wheelchair, a sister with autism, or brother with Down syndrome play with other families equally and be part of their community? The Magical Bridge Playground.
In Palo Alto, the most innovative and inclusive and expensive playground in the country opened on Saturday. It's a wonderland for young and old alike where there are no barriers to fun.
The idea was birthed by a mother Olenka Villarreal had to drive 12 miles and pay $150 so her child with developmental disabilities could play on a swing.
It took 6 years of planning, but this mom raised $4 million, most of it privately, to bring the magical bridge playground to life.
Some of the features include an entirely smooth surface, no sand or mulch to limit access to wheels or walkers, overly large safety swings and slides, merry-go-rounds built on ground level for wheelchairs, and lazy boy swings for parents to gently rock kids in their arms.
Hello, I'm Eda. I'm a reporter of the Righteous News Group. Our good news is about Brave Hospital staff. Brave Hospital staff stays behind in hurricane to care for 19 babies in intensive care. All newborn babies are fragile, but none more so than those whose first days are spent in neonatal intensive care. When the Category 4 Hurricane Laura threatened the city of Lake Charles in Louisiana, a mandatory evacuation was ordered, but for 19 of its newest residents, leaving was pretty much impossible. Staff members at Lake Charles Memorial Hospital were adamant if the babies couldn't be evacuated safely, they'd remain behind with them until the danger passed. With wind gusts of up to 135 miles per hour hammering the town, neonatologist Dr. Juan Basona, along with a team of 14 nurses, 2 neonatal nurse practitioners, and 3 respiratory therapists stayed behind in the ICU, caring for their tiny charges in shifts as the storm raged through the night. Earlier in the day, the babies had been ferried from the single-story Lake Charles Memorial Hospital for Women to the hospital's sturdier 10th floor main building. Some of the infants were on respirators or ventilators. Some were born premature as early as 23 weeks. Doctors, hospital residents, members of the sheriff's department, and a host of others all pitched in to make sure the babies and everything necessary for their care, including respirators and incubators, safely made the trip. We are connecting to Batu and he will go on the news. Hi Batu.
Hi Eda, thanks. It's really great to hear about good news. Let's learn the happy ending of the news together. By the time the worst of the storm hit, the staff and the babies were hunkered down in the hallways, as far away from the howling winds and whipping rain as they could get. It's important to know the dedication of all the nurses and the respiratory therapists to keep taking care of the babies when they don't even know the condition of their homes, Dr. Bazana told CNN. In a small town like this, people have to pull together. I'm proud of them. During the night, the air conditioning was knocked over and the hospital lost weather service. Throughout the ordeal, Dr. Bazana kept anxious parents and relatives updates via frequent posts to his Facebook page. With the storm over and all of the little patents faring well, the babies were set to be transferred to other areas in US, where vital services hadn't been interrupted by the hurricane. This morning because babies were stable, I got a couple of hours of sleep. We are still in the hospital, Bazana said. Thanks for following us. I hope we won't have disasters like this and we only hear the good news.
Tolerance. Police tolerance in Denmark. In Denmark, the police officers entertain children swimming in the patrol vehicle they drive. The unspecified whereabouts were posted on the social networking site. The police department said on the images, "The police are always with their people when needed. This time they were with the children who went into the sea when the weather was hot and made them happy. The police are there for the public," the statement said.
Hello, I'm Hilal. We are the group members of Solidarity of Young Minds new group. Today, we will present you a news of the Brotherhood of Races. Black protester is a hero after carrying injured white counter protester to safety. It's not black versus white. A Black Lives Matter protester is being hailed as a hero after he came to the rescue of a counter-protester who was injured at an anti-racism rally in London. Patrick Hutchinson's face has been featured on news outlets around the world since he was photographed carrying the far-right demonstrator to safety during the protest near Waterloo Bridge this weekend. We will connect to Gülnur now. Hello, Gülnur.
Hello, Hilal, thanks. It is good to hear good news. Hutchinson says that it had been the first anti-racism gathering that he had attended since the movement gained worldwide traction following the death of George Floyd. Although the event was meant to be a peaceful protest for police reform, fights broke out in London after counter-protesters gathered in opposition to the rally. After Hutchinson and his friends joined the rally, he witnessed the white demonstrator fall to the ground following a violent altercation between the protesters and counter-protesters. Since the man was surrounded by people, he was unable to get up from a fatal position. His life was under threat. Hutchinson recalled, "I sort of just thought, well, if he stays here, he's not gonna make it."
To embody altruism, my friend and doctor, I want to give Dr. Salatin Yaman as an example. He was attracted to one of the most difficult groups of patients, paraplegic people. He devoted most of his labor and time to repairing pressure sores and tissue loss caused by educate and improper care of patients confined to bed. Moreover, without taking any money, without getting tired, he performed nearly 5,000 operations and gave lectures as the doctor who performed the most pressure sore operations in the world. He was also the apple of the eye of the Spinal Cord Paralytic Association. He had cancer, but he is still active until his last days, albeit exhausted. In February 2020, operator Dr. Salatin Yaman was given the Turkey Spinal Cord Paralytic Association Award for outstanding service. Beethoven loved it, and passed away in the year of Beethoven 2020. This example of altruistic beautiful person to eternity.
Hi, we are Carlos and Roa from Julio Caro Baroja High School, and today we are going to talk about a high school girls team who have created a mobile ventilator to help Afghans in their efforts against COVID-19. A team of legitimate high school geniuses from Afghanistan proves that the South Asian country is much more than a war zone. Their robotics team invented a new, inexpensive ventilator model that will help the thousands of COVID-19 patients in their homeland, where such machines are lacking in hospitals. In the city of Tehran, the team of 7 young people from Afghan Robotics completed the design of a mobile ventilator that cost just $300, compared to the $20,000 needed to buy a traditional model. The lightweight machine is powered by batteries that can run for the night. Now we connect with Roa.
They are proud of the work they have done and that all the hard work they have put in this project has been successful. Afghanistan Minister of Health also applauded the girl innovation and drive and looked forward to the approval of the devices by the World Health Organization. The girls also won silver medals for their achievement in creating a machine that separates dirty water from clean water, and also won a subsequent entrepreneurship challenge in Europe.
Hello, I am Neda. We are the group members of News to be Heard in the World News Group. Our good news is about elderly people. Because of the COVID-19 lockdown, they had really hard times, but they are not alone. The coronavirus pandemic has prompted people all over Europe to help those less fortunate or able than themselves. Elderly people are especially vulnerable. In the Italian city of Naples, volunteers deliver shopping for those who struggle to eat themselves. The local authority gives the helpers concessions such as allowing them to skip lines at supermarkets and pharmacies so they can get deliveries to those who need it as quickly as possible. Their needs are vital, said one woman shopping. It's difficult for everyone, but let's try to do it for those who need it most, another woman added. We will connect to Mustafa for the rest of the news now. Hello, Mustafa.
Hello, Neda. In the Russian capital Moscow, there is no obligatory confinement as yet, although people are being encouraged to self-isolate, even to the extent of avoiding other family members. But people still need to eat. The city hall has opened a hotline that allows pensioners to call in and new orders. They still have to pay for their shopping, but delivery is free. The campaign is very much a top-down initiative rather than a grassroots one. Helpers are from the group medical volunteers. Works together with the all Russian Popular Front, who are strong supporters of President Vladimir Putin. We are really looking forward to hearing good news and the days before COVID-19. See you in next program.
Barheim, a teacher from Pennsylvania, teaches his second grader Harrison Connor while he battles leukemia during the pandemic. She drives every day 20 minutes from school to teach a special lesson to him. Haim wants to make sure his student keeps his spirits up and he's leaning on track as he goes through the treatment for leukemia. When everyone returned to in-person classes, Harrison remained in online schooling due to his medical condition, so Haim decided to bring him to the classroom every day while they make sure to follow the security restrictions. At the moment, Harrison is in remission, but he has another year and a half of treatment. These visits are on hold now because of COVID-19 scare, but Haim can't stop thinking about him. A group of teenagers in Chicago were looking for a way to uplift their marginalized West Side community, and they found it. With the help of their friends, they transformed a liquor store into a food market to provide healthy food alternatives. For areas like Austin, groceries and fresh produce are difficult to come by even in the best of the times. The situation worsened when several area grocery stores were forced to close temporarily after being looted. When the discussion turned to the idea of repurposing one of the looted properties into a much-needed community resource, the kid took the idea and ran with it. The project got enthusiastic backing from a number of professional athletes. They raised $5,000 in seed money to get the project rolling.
I am a reporter of the Peace in the World News Group. Today, we will report you the news that the foundation of Black Lives Matter movement has been nominated to the Nobel Peace Prize. The founders of Black Lives Matter have received nomination for the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize. In his nomination papers, Norwegian politician Petter Eide said the movement had forced countries outside the US to confront racism in their own societies. I find that one of the key challenges we have seen in America, but also in Europe and Asia, is the kind of increasing conflict based on inequality, Eide said. Black Lives Matter has become a very important worldwide movement to fight racial injustice. They have had a tremendous achievement in raising global awareness and conscience about racial injustice. Now we are connecting to Akif Emre and he will go on the news. Hi Akif Emre.
Thanks Elifnaz. We should accept that we all human beings are equal and must be respectful to each other. Ada went on to praise the fact that they have been able to mobilize people from all groups of society, not just Afro-Americans, not just oppressed people. It has been a broad movement, in a way which has been different from their predecessors. The Black Lives Matter movement was co-founded in 2013 by Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, and Opal Tometi in response to acquittal in the US of the man who shot Trayvon Martin. It continued to gain wider recognition over deaths of Michael Brown and Eric Garner. Most recently, global protests over the death of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Lars Haltbrekken, a Socialist Party member of Norway's parliament, also put forward Stacey Abrams, a voting rights activist and politician, for a nomination. Her efforts to increase voter turnout and fairness in the southern election process. Commenting on her historic nomination, he said Abrams' work follows Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s footsteps in the fight for equality before the law and civil rights. Thanks for following us. Hope to hear good news.
Switzerland holds referendum on making homophobia illegal. The measure, which expand on existing laws banning racial discrimination, would make it illegal to publicly denigrate, discriminate against, or stir up hatred against people based on their sexual orientation.
San Francisco Mayor London Breed announced the awarding of $3.75 million to serve San Francisco Black and African American small business community. This investment by the Office of Economic and Workforce Development and the San Francisco Human Rights Commission is part of the Dreamkeeper initiative, which is reinvesting $120 million from law enforcement into San Francisco African American community.
Hello, I am Baran. I'm a reporter of the Voice of Union News Group. Our good news is about a successful woman and her contribution to nature. Kenyan woman discovers a way to recycle plastic waste into bricks that are stronger than concrete. And Zambi Mati says she was tired of government inaction on plastic pollution. A Kenyan woman has found a way to recycle plastic waste that is 5 times stronger than concrete. And Zambi Mati, the founder of Jeng Makers based in Nairobi, said that the bricks she has made can be thrown against a wall and do not crack. Speaking to Reuters, Mati said our product is almost 5 to 7 times stronger than concrete. That is that waste they cannot process anymore. They cannot recycle. That is what we get. Now my friend Barkın in my news group will go on the news.
2017 and said she started her project to combat plastic pollution after growing tired of government officials who she felt were not taking swift enough action. She has plans to add another production line to her factory, which will triple the output of plastic material. Speaking on her new endeavors and perseverance in her work, she said, "I was tired of being on the sidelines."
Well, the difference between these 4-year-old girls might be obvious to some. They see only their similarities. In fact, Gia and Zoe believe themselves to be so similar. They're not just best friends, they're twins. While some may scoff at the children like innocents, Gia and Zoe recently made international headlines when another youngster at the birthday party claimed that the girls couldn't be twins because they didn't have the same skin color. Gia retorted by saying, "You don't know what you're talking about. We're twins because we share the same soul." The girls remain steadfast in their beliefs that adults just don't get it. Love can overcome any boundary.